All right. Welcome to week 5 of Console Gaming League's Alive by Nightfall, Dead by Daylight tournament. I am your host, Hanrose Dav, and I am here with the waifu queen of horror herself, Saki Sakura TV. How are you?
I'm good. I'm actually super excited to share the mic with you, my lovely horror queen. It's been a while since we got to share a mic, and much less on a different game too, actually. So definitely excited.
Yes, and actually, Saki, I have to say, because the first times that I played this game, whether it was on or off stream, it was actually with you. You introduced me to this world and the lore of Dead by Daylight as a whole. So I'm so happy that finally, after all this time, we get to commentate together.
Absolutely. And you know what's crazy too is this game can be esports friendly. A lot of people, fun fact, don't really know that I used to compete in Dead by Daylight tournaments too. So it's really nice to actually be on the mic and actually be able to commentate one of these. I'm sure the horrific teams are ready. But let's go ahead and start right off into kind of explaining how it works. Like I said, this game is esports friendly. So we're gonna have some teams up tonight who are going to be competing for the to be in top 8 finale. So one team will be heading out of this week, and we'll see who gets to win. We, of course, over for a review of the scores, we do have some killers banned for this tournament. We have Plague, Spirit, and Wraith this week. For survivors, they're going to be earning some points by doing gens and escaping. So each of those things are worth 2 points. And for our killers, who are lovely, lovely killers and husbando killers, please play our husbandos.
Please, we need it.
You guys will be earning hooks on and deaths. Each of those are valid at 1 point. So we have seen teams that are going to be getting a potential of 16 points for killers and 18 points for survivors. It's going to be very interesting to see. Super excited.
Yes. So for general rules, looks like survivors can only use yellow items and below. Survivors can only use yellow add-ons and below as well. No survivor repeats. Everyone must use a different survivor per match or the entire time. So you can't have 2 Claudettes, you can't have 2 Cheryls, you can't have 2 or all 4 Dwights. Fortunately, not allowed.
No twinsies.
Yes, no twinsies at all. In case of a survivor disconnecting due to a rage quit or connection issue, the remaining hook points and death point of that survivor will be rewarded to the killer. It looks like here we do have a couple things banned other than the killers that Saki had mentioned. Hex, Undying, and Object of Obsession are banned. Another thing as well, survivors are only allowed to have 2 of the same perks across the team. So say if you're trying to use Dead Hard, only 2 people can use Dead Hard. Same with Sprint Burst, only 2 people can use that per team.
That's definitely one of the interesting things about these types of tournaments, because usually when you play casual in some of these lobbies, you normally have like a good survivor team pretty much decked out in either Dead Hard, Decisive Strike, Borrowed Time. I think one of them is Bill's perk, where you kind of can pick yourself up if you wait long enough. Yeah, Unbreakable. So it's definitely interesting to see that these rules are very suited to not only make sure that each survivor is both unique, but also that they're not overwhelming the killer with all of those perks. So I'm definitely excited to see what kind of builds we're going to be expecting from our survivors. What about killer perks?
Yes, so with killer perks, let me take a look here. Killer perks. I know it says it around here somewhere.
I believe we see Hex Undying, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and Object of Obsession are banned as well. So no offerings are allowed to be played, no keys and chests. So those are banned as well. Looks like a coin toss will happen to determine which team will play killer first for their set match. Oh, here we go. Nurse, Spirit, and Hag can only use yellow add-ons and below. Trapper and Wraith can use purple add-ons and below. Every other killer is green add-ons and below.
I do enjoy that rule a lot, to be honest, because I've played most of all of the killers, And especially when it comes to like some of these stronger ones like Nerf, Spirit, and Hag, their add-ons just make their power super powerful, and kind of hard for survivors to really navigate, especially when you're not really able to. So I really like that they are using yellow add-ons. They're not too powerful. You're honestly really relying on the power of the killer. And I find it interesting too for Trapper. I know Wraith is banned, so we won't go too much into that one. But the fact that Trapper is going to be using some purple add ons is going to be really interesting. I know his reworks were really centered around helping his power out. So hopefully we'll see some Trap Daddies. I'm hoping.
Trap daddies. You love to see it.
Yes. So fun fact, everyone, I know some of you guys haven't been able to see Red Forest in these past tournaments. It does look like they have enabled it back again after some fixing. So we will have Red Forest as part of the map pool. I believe our first one, though, is going to be heading to Cold Wind. So our first match will be going to Cold Wind Farms.
And something that we also would like to mention as well, if you guys haven't already and you wanted to compete and get a team together in order to participate in the tournament, please follow CGL for their Discord. I went ahead and put a link in the chat. Definitely keep up with Kunoichi CGL and Console Gaming League's Twitter. I do believe Console Gaming League has a YouTube channel. I think Kunoichi is still in the works for that. Definitely follow their Instagram too. Their Instagram account's fairly new for both accounts. I tag them all the time on my personal stuff, usually if I'm commentating, if I'm on the mic with someone, or if I'm just or if we're just participating in general. So definitely make sure you follow Console Gaming League, definitely, and their Twitch, of course, because I mean, actually, they recently just got Twitch partnered too. They also recently just got that purple check mark. So congrats to Nips and the CGL team. So that's definitely a win for them. But yeah, definitely check out their socials and check out their Discord. Their Discord, it's pretty lit. It's pretty. Fun.
Really is. So their Dead by Daylight Discord, I see their memes. I see some of the cool 4 kills that they've been posting. Plus, on top of that, they're a growing community. So if you're looking for actually trying to kind of get some scrims or some practice or even some casual games and you just want to have some fun, definitely be sure to check out that Dead by Daylight CGL Discord. It is super important to not only be in there for the tournament, but also to meet some new people.
Oh yeah, so make some new friends.
Hell yeah. So I'm really excited again. I'm kind of hoping to see a couple of killers tonight. I'm looking forward, of course, to seeing Spirit. Oh wait, no, Spirit's banned. Never mind.
Yeah, Spirit is banned. Spirit, Plague, and then Wraith.
Yes, no Bing Bong Boy, unfortunately. No Bing Bong Boy. But I am excited to see if maybe we can get an Oni. I think one of the past teams actually won with Oni. Which is awesome because you don't really see that killer happening around too much. Yeah. I'm really excited to maybe see some Ghostface. That's Hannah's husbando there.
Oh, I love my edgy boy. I love Ghostface. I've been mating Ghostface probably since the beginning. I do like Spirit quite a bit. But with Ghostface, I like him the way that he's built with like more of like a stealth build. So any Ghostface made, like if you play him just once, or if you play, well, Saki, yours is Jiwoon and then Executioner, so Pyramid Head. Yes. So please play our husbandos. We're absolutely obsessed with them. So please, it'd be such a treat for us. But speaking of Oni, yes, and we also want to congratulate the teams that have won within the past 4 weeks. We're on week 5 today. So from Los Randys to Throwers to the Sweat Lords to Agony, congratulations on making the top 8 finale. Those are the past teams that have won within the previous weeks. So I'm excited to see what teams are going to be playing today. If you do hit command bracket in chat, you should be able to see all the teams that are playing today in today's tournament. So it's going to be a good time. I think this is going to be good.
For sure. And it looks like we're going to be heading soon into our first match. It's going to be Vama versus Sigil, I believe. And here we go. Already on that loading screen, looking really forward to seeing, I believe Sigil's on the killer side, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully production can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes. Sigil. Mm-hmm. And then is it Yama? Yama is on the survival end.
Nice. Okay. Alrighty. So really excited to see what exactly we're gonna come and actually see from these perks builds. We're just going to be heading into now the map. Again, I believe it's Cold Wind Farms that we're heading towards to. Oh, looks like we have a hag, actually.
Ooh, okay. I like seeing hags. She's a very tricky killer, especially with those traps. And she can teleport within those too.
Yes, one of the things you want to really keep mind of about the hag is setting up these traps early game, super important. And with a small farm like Coldwind, oh, it looks like we may not be seeing the chase happen just yet. Definitely one of the things that we want to keep in mind and important for hag is setting up these traps. We do have some disturbances in the force, the entity, giving a notification right now. Also looks like these add-ons on the hag are going to be some of the trap setting birds. Oh, and misses the lunge here. We have Claudette being chased. There is a room, a hex totem. My apologies. A hex totem in play right now. Alrighty. Going ahead and cutting off the chase. I kind of agree with this. Like I said, you definitely want to be sure to actually make sure that you can set up those traps. And that was haunted. That was actually one hit KO. Hello.
God, they got slugged. As soon as they saw them, just completely slugged them.
So we're gonna see our first hook here on Sigil's end.
That is 1 point for Sigil.
Very nice. So like I mentioned before, we are looking to see more of now a sort of playing around the traps from our killer. Do we know the name of our killer by any chance? Either way, seeing those traps set up. Checking out the generators. Oh, we got a teleport. That was a Claudette. I think though Xerxes, if I pronounced this name correctly, my apologies, is probably still sticking around that hex totem that's still lit up.
And I haven't seen any gen pops yet. It's only been like maybe almost 5 minutes. You'd think that a gen would be done by now.
Absolutely. Now, this is something that Bama's going to need to be real careful of. There is that one gem pop. It might be a little bit late as we have already 3 people close to the dying state. So they're injured. All right, we got a loop here happening. That's going to be no stun, instead a trap. Very nice teleport. Ooh. That's going to knock down, and I believe this is going to be a second hook for... Oh, decisive strike?
Oh no.
Alrighty, so
well done.
We've already confirmed that we do have decisive strike on 1 survivor. This is going to be on the Nia. I'm a little bit curious as to why Xerxes hasn't really hunted down and solidified some kills. I know that Nia was very close to it. That does put decisive strike for Nia out of play.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very curious because now the generators are getting popped. So we already have 2 on the board.
Nice. So that is 4 points for Vama.
Here we go. Going on for the chase. We got a Claudette. Not going to choose to use that window. It's going to actually climb over the window instead.
Here we go. And the looping begins. Oh, good stun from the Claudette.
Unfortunately, though, that stun is... Oh, she's not choosing to pick up. She's choosing to chase. Are we going to see some slugging happening? Gonna go full chase on the Quinton. Not sure if I agree with this, but we'll see. Hopefully the chase will end pretty soon so she can get that hook. Or they can get that hook, rather. Here we go. Another gen has been popped. Gonna go for the trap setup. Alright, looks like they're choosing to go back. We do see another teleport, and that's gonna be a hit. Once again, we're gonna go into another chase. No, instead we're gonna go for the teleport trap. Okay.
I will say, very clever placing of the traps from this hag. They know what they're doing. They're doing very, very well with the traps and teleporting.
I agree. It seems like they've been getting almost probably like maybe 9 out of the 10 hits from those teleports, and they're hitting them. Definitely, though, I do kind of want to see some gen pressure. Unfortunately, these traps are going to be set in place and kind of spaced out, but hopefully we'll see another gen. Oh, Claudette in the loop. Going for the chase. Nice, very backtrack there from Xerxes. Okay, we're going to get the hit, and we're going to get that Claudette. Does miss a hook back there, choosing to go for the farther hook.
Not sure if I agree with that, but maybe if there's some type of strategy in mind.
Could be body blocking. I believe body blocking is not against the rules as long as it allows the game to happen. So as long as they're not holding up the game. All right, gonna go back to a generator. I know this gen has been touched, and there it goes, right there, trying to use the flashlight and to dissolve the trap. Gonna choose to actually slam onto the gen. I approve. Want to try to suppress the pressure of these gens as much as possible right now. All right, here we go. We got a chase. I believe this is still the Nia from before. Does choose to put that pallet down early. This is going to be a loop that she may have to break pretty early on. We'll see. Yep, breaking the chase, not choosing to drop the pallet. Has sight on Quentin. Okay, there we go. One Quentin down. Do we get the Claudette? Also, shoutouts to Dreamy for the raid. We appreciate you, love. Welcome, welcome.
Dreamy, yeah.
Alright, Quentin now on the hook. This is actually gonna put Sigil right now at 3 points. We have another hit on the Ace. Why would I call him Vincent? He looks like a Vincent, right?
Alright. Hag looks a little lost here. Oh, and then with the teleport, really good hit.
Very good hit.
That is going to be another point for Sigil. Looks like we are up to 3 points now. 4 points.
4 points, very nice indeed. I think probably the best thing as far as Xerxes can do at this point is possibly hang around, not exactly camp, because again, the hook on the death is going to need to count to have these points placed. But it looks like we're going to go after the Quentin instead, probably an easier target for them. We still have Ace right now on the hook. The door is open right now. Going for a lunge, maybe, possibly a dead hard. Oh, both survivors are out. That's going to bring the total for Vama up to, I believe, 20 points right now. No, 14. My apologies. I can't do math.
14. You're right. You're good.
All right, second phase right now for Ace. Beautiful. That's going to be a down there for the Claudette. This is going to be another point for Sigil. It's going to take it home with 7 points or 6 points. We'll see right now in just a second. Hello? Are they waiting for the...
6 points. Ooh.
Probably giving the point. We'll be waiting word from admin to see. It seems like the last survivor did disconnect, probably because of the points already going to be given once that hook happens. We'll be waiting an admin decision, but very good job from both teams.
Very well done.
Very nice. And for those of you who did not know what perks Xerxes was running, we had Ruin, Franklin's, Haunted, which explains why the Nia went down so quickly, Hannah, and Corrupt. Also explains why they took so long into doing the generator, but probably because Corrupt was on the field and in play at that time.
Okay. Let me take a look here. So for the Corrupt perk, if I'm not mistaken, at the start of the trial, the 3 generators located the farthest from you are blocked by the entity for either 80, 20, or 100. No, 80, 100, or 120 seconds. That is a plague perk. I did not know that.
Yes, it's actually one of my favorite perks to start off, especially when you have a lot of slowing down builds. You can really combo that perk up with, like, for example, Sloppy Butcher, Satanophobia, anything basically to really slow down survivors and their progress on gens and healing. And the reason because of that is it gives time for the killer to actually get and set up either traps, especially for the Hag, as we saw, or to locate survivors and give them enough time so that there is sort of like a ratio of killers being able to hook versus the survivors trying to get those gens done. Again, once very good Hag. The only thing I would probably say is maybe the chases could have been fulfilled faster, I would say. Dropped a lot of chases in favor of placing those traps. And if you notice at one point, the traps were so spaced out and the generators were so spaced out that you couldn't really do a 2 or 3 gen pressure. So
And something that I want to mention as well, when it comes to corrupt intervention, that specific perk that Hag was using, I've been seeing lately that a lot of survivors have been like, they're basically been hiding until that time is up. That way they can go ahead and be a gen jockey and get those gens and stuff done. And definitely gives the killer a good amount of time to start hunting.
yes, like I really enjoy that perk, especially when I'm playing like Pig, for example, because it's kind of like that, just that setup play, and it's a very good perk to definitely just stop any type of gen pressure, especially if you have like the new parts and toolboxes. Very
Mhm.
important. It looks like we're getting from admin decision that that's going to be Vama at 14 and Sigil at 9. So we'll be switching over to the next set of this, the next phase of this set, where Vama will be killer and Sigil will be survivor team.
And something I want to point out as well when it comes to the rules, survivors dying on the first hook or survivors getting to the second hook on the first hook will not be rewarded a hook point. This only applies for camping. If the hook survivor is not being camped, hitting the second stage or dying without being saved rewards the killer with a point. Survivors
Oh.
attempting to attempt escape slash killing themselves on hook reward the killer with hook points.
So that probably explains why Sigil was able to get that point, because I believe if we look back at it, at the replays for our admins, they actually were able to not camp. So the Hag was not camping the ace. She did set up her traps, which as she should. That's fair game. Fair game. Was able was able to continue the chase on the Claudette, as well as the Quentin, I believe.
And of
Sort of
course,
something like that. Yeah.
yes. And of course, the survivors who have deliverance, obviously, they can definitely attempt to escape because they have that perk.
Yes, yes, indeed. But once again, very good job on both teams. I'm really excited to see how Bama is going to be killing. They are sitting really pretty right now as far as points are. They did get 2 survivors out and they did get all 5 gens done. So again, we have a total of 14 points for them that they're going to be going in as killers. And we'll definitely see how it goes. Sigil definitely going to need a strong survivor team if we're going to see any kind of sort of staying alive situation for them right now. Mm-hmm. So, but once again, everyone, if you are enjoying the action and you're looking to participate in the remaining 3 weeks of this series, definitely be sure to check out all the socials on CGL as well as Kunoichi. You can find them on Twitter and Instagram, very new. You can also be sure to follow the Twitch page, and of course, be sure to check out the Discord. Hannah just put it, my lovely queen, my beautiful queen. Thank you.
You are absolutely welcome, Queen Mew. I'm actually going to go ahead and link both Kunoichi and CGL's Twitters, as well as their Discord link as well. And you know what I've noticed? Kasaki, you recently had a TikTok account created.
Yes.
And how often are you on DBD Talk? Like, they are such meme lords over there. It's amazing to see.
Okay, all right, hold up, because this is serious discussion. This is a very serious discussion. Okay, so first off, DBD TikTok, amazing. Shout outs to Queen Frost, one of the best meme TikToks that I've seen out there. I love watching her. I see her all the time on my timeline. But Hannah, when we see the husbandos on TikTok, let me tell you, okay, it's worth it. It's worth it. Seeing Pyramid Head late at night, just chilling.
It hits different.
It hits different.
I have a confession. I have so many videos of Ghostface. It's like becoming a problem. It's a problem. But you know what I really like watching, other than like the memes and the husbandos? I really do like the killer aesthetic. Oh, my favorite is what your favorite like blank says. It's that one sound, and it's like, oh, what your killer says about you. Like, I just like the memery of it is just it's so relatable, and it's really cool, the fact that because with DBD, I understand when it comes to being online and playing with randos, I know it can be really toxic, but the community in general, they're actually very, very kind. So, but it looks like we're actually going to go ahead and get to the next match here.
Alrighty, here we go.
All right. It looks like they're going to be switching spots here with Vanna as the killer and Sigil as survivors here.
It does seem like we have, I believe, small game from a Claudette right now, as I heard the notification go off. We also seem to have Oni. Let's go!
Let's go! Oni!
Oni-san!
Oni-san!
Oh, we have sights. We have sights on the new survivor. And here we go. Going for the chase. We do have corrupt intervention as well. It seems the sword's arm there gets done by the pallet. Here we go. Gonna start powering up the Oni's power here. Alright, chooses to break off the chase, does get the hit off, so that's a good thing. You know, getting that injured already off of the board. We do see a Claudette right now. Gonna try to go for the loop. Very nice mind trick there. Is actually gonna try to face away to prevent the Claudette from noticing the chase too much, the red light on the killer. This is a bit of a loop though. Unfortunately, this is one of those L-shaped loops that are gonna be pretty difficult. Very nice hold, choosing not to go for the full lunge on the window, instead turning right in the nick of time and getting that Claudette. Gonna go again once on this loop as well. Claudette choosing to not stay by the pallet, gonna break away from that loop, using that hard and beautiful lunge there. Gonna go ahead and pick it up. It also seems we may have Infectious Fright on the field as well.
Very questionable that they didn't use the pallet right away.
Yeah, sometimes you want to save those pallets. It's so early in game. So we definitely see that was a nice kick on that gen. It looks like it was about probably maybe 60% finished by the looks of it. And Oni is charged. Oni-san's mad. And here we go.
Oni-san.
Alright, we got word on the Fengmin. And here we go. That's going to be a one-hit KO.
Slug.
Oh, going for the slug like you said, Hannah. Okay, let's see.
This is definitely something that I've noticed in most Oni mains. They definitely have like the technique to mainly slug the majority of their survivors. But man, that roar that this Oni has is absolutely horrifying.
Yes, it's actually, it makes me tremble too. Choosing to actually break away from the Claudette, I like it. Gonna actually go ahead and pick up the Fengmin and put 8 points on the board right now. We do see that one gen has already popped. Most likely that gen, this one's actually going to be looking like 25% maybe. And here we go. Going to use the Blood Chill to recharge all that power. The power of the Ancestral Rage is in the Oni right now. And here we go, trying to look for the gen. Not hearing any noise from that gen. Gonna assume that there's nobody there at the moment. We do have Fengmin off of the hook. I think someone might have been around that killer shack, but the only choosing to go forward and go for the next one. It's already fully powered up. Gonna go for that one-hit KO. Oh, looks like we got a loop here, Hannah.
Very intense loop as well. Definitely have to make sure that you keep track and follow the red scratches on the ground.
Absolutely. Sigil's actually doing an amazing job at running these loops. Very impressive. Oh, misses the one-hit KO. Looks like we're going after the new survivor right now. I'm loving these loops right now. It's actually trying to run out the enemy's power. Does get one-hit KO, unfortunately. Infectious Frights, again, once again in play. Looks like it's going to go after the Quinton, trying to cut through, and there it is. Beautiful mind game. That was actually a very good call out there. Gonna pick up the Quinton and put that on the hook. I'm gonna put another point on the board.
And 2 survivors slugged within a matter of seconds.
Absolutely. Just another testament to the Oni's power. Alright. It does seem that we also have Pop Goes the Weasel. So that perk is definitely going to be hitting hard on those generators and stopping the pressure on the survivor side. All right, choosing to actually use it to actually hit that gen now. Gonna follow the blood trails, maybe? No.
Oh, so if pop goes the Weedle, the next generator you damage instantly loses 25% progression. That's a lot.
It's a lot. It's honestly can be the deciding point in a survivor's game plan, to be honest. It's almost like a choice of whether or not you should go back to that gen or try another gen while that killer is trying to camp. And here we go. Are we gonna see another one-hit KO? No. That was actually a really nice pallet. It's not gonna stun, but it's gonna go after the Claudette. Oh, slams down the pallet in one go. Oh, hits the wall instead. The Claudette doing a really good job right now and just keeping healing off of her. Choosing to cancel, not in time. Gonna hit that one-hit KO though. Infection Sprite once again in play, going right after. Who's this? We'll see right now. No, breaks away, perhaps. Oh, that was OD.
What a read.
Beautiful call out there from the killer. Actually able to guess that was going to go through the window, that survivor. And that's going to be another point for Vanla right now.
How many gens are currently left as of right now?
I believe there is 2 gens.
Okay.
Hey.
All right.
So Sigil's not doing a bad job at all. Definitely doing a really good job. I think we have an injured survivor though, by the looks of these blood trails. Not choosing to even investigate the area as well, actually. But we do have red marks on the ground as well. So let's see if we're gonna go after the chase. Nothing yet. We do have an unhook. And here we go. Oni-chan already getting up the power. Here we go, going for the shack. Trying to see if there's anybody here. And there's the Quentin. Does miss the opportunity. We do have 2 survivors right now going after each other.
Missed by an absolute hair. This Oni has me on the edge of my seat right now. Very well done.
He has the edge of my seat too. My goodness, these plays are very smart and very game awareness right now. Like, this is super important, especially when you are at this level, because right now those 2 gens and any escapes for Sigil can actually put Vama at a very big disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
So right now Vama needs to at least kill 2 survivors, make sure that they're off to the entity to secure their points.
And there's that 25% progression taken away from that 1 gen.
All right, and we do have 1 gen left on the field. Here we go. Not choosing to kick the gens, they're going to go after the Claudette, I believe, that is around here. Yep, that is a Claudette sounding.
And we do see a hex totem right there as well. Or no, not a hex totem, just a totem in general.
Oh, good. You never know what could be. You never know. Because NOED can be activated if they have NOED. So we'll see.
Oh, that's true, right? And we're not really able to see the perks as of right now with the killer, which is very smart. That way we don't give the survivors any sort of advantage. Now, I will say, with this tournament, one of our fellow Mortal Kombat girls, Autumn GX, part of Kunoichi, actually put together this tournament extremely well, to the point where no one is able to really exploit any sort of rule or rule breaking. It's very, very impressive.
Absolutely. And here we go. We're going to go for the full chase right now. This is going to be another gen that's very close to popping. Now, what's interesting right now is these gen placements could be in favor of Vama right now, as they're literally, we have 2 that are literally close together and super close to popping right now. So probably the best choice right now for Vama is to just stick around the area and double check every now and then this last generator that we're going towards to. And here we go. We do see another Claudette choosing to hit the tree, not able to get the 1-hit KO. And here we go. No. Oh, went through the wall. You know, that's actually interesting. It's also great map awareness as well. There are some maps where killers can take advantage of those windows. Now, this is going to be probably a full hook that's going to go up to the entity. I'll double check now. Yep. So Vanna needs to have at least one more, I think, if I'm doing math correctly, to be still on the safe side. But we'll definitely see if Sigil can make it out with these 3 survivors. And here we go on the gates as well. We do have 2 survivors, and Mrs. Fang Min's gonna go down. This is actually might be her last hook, I believe.
Looks like we're gonna take chase of that Claudette that was hiding just a moment ago.
Go ahead and pick up Miss Fang Min pretty soon. Get that power recharged and ready to go if they need it. That gate is 50%, so it only takes 1 survivor to go, and there we go. Gonna choose to drop Fang Min and go straight for the new survivor right now.
Oh, it was the new survivor. Okay, I thought it was the Claudette.
It's okay. And here we go. That gets the 1 KO, and that's gonna be 2 survivors down. We still have Quentin. Could be an epic save of the day if they can do it. That's going to be 1 hook off to the entity and another survivor for the feast. And here we go. Gonna put the Fang Min, gonna take him to the other hook that is far, a little bit farther than the gate. We do have 1 gate open already, endgame already starting. And here we go. That's actually going to be on their 2nd hook. And Quentin, smart decision, going to go ahead and head out. But unfortunately, with those 3 hooks, Bama is going to be moving on.
They're going to be moving up the bracket. Well done. That was intense. That was a very intense, but very smartly played Oni. That was very, very well done on their end.
Absolutely. I really can't complain too much about how they played that. Epic reads, right? You know, like when you're playing this killer, you really want to be able to understand like the survivor's mind and kind of understand where exactly they're going to be heading out. And kind of using what tools they can, especially when it comes to the loops and the pallets and the windows. And I gotta say, this killer knew exactly what to do and when to do it, especially around that killer shack. We saw a lot of the times they were able to actually just make that like turn and go right back and actually stop survivors from trying to vault or trying to just loop the Oni. The other thing too is I want to mention that we did see that the killer had corrupt intervention, monitor and abuse, pop, and infectious fright.
Oh, we have not seen Monitor, at least not that I've seen within the past couple of weeks for the tournament. So Monitor. All right. Whenever you are outside of a chase, your terror radius is reduced by 16 meters while your field of view is increased by 5, 3, and 10 degrees.
So that's a really interesting perk. I know that they did actually sort of fix it because of course the doctor did get reworked, and so that was one of the things that they wanted to touch. But that's what made infectious fright work so well when you saw the Oni actually take the survivors down. Because of that monitor and abuse perk, the terror radius was able to expand, and we would be able to actually have the survivors scream. So really clutch situation, because it's like you mentioned before during the match, how quick the Oni was able to just traverse back and forth to each survivor. So they down 1 and then they would go for another one, and then all of a sudden you see 2 survivors already on the ground. So really good, smart decision. I love the build. I love the corrupt intervention as well. Gave you enough time to start off that power. And of course, Pop Goes the Weasel, you can never go wrong. Definitely slowed down the gen progress on these survivors quite a bit.
Absolutely. I want to take another look at the rules here real quick, just to make sure we're not missing anything. But I think we're all on a pretty good track thus far.
Absolutely. I love it. I love seeing this. And we're seeing a lot of Quintins too.
Yeah, I bet Dinah's happy.
I was going to say, I'm sure she's ecstatic right now.
Killers killing survivors with 5 stacks of Devour Hope rewards the killer with hook points and death. If you moor someone with Devour Hope, you get 1 point for the hook state and 1 hook for the death. Killing a survivor with Rancor only rewards with 1 point for death, no hook points. Okay. Oh, here we go. Dying from being slugged does not reward a hook point, only a point for death. There's no penalty for tunneling. That's very important. Very important. No penalty at all for tunneling.
You know what's crazy is I remember because I was considering in participating in this tournament, but unfortunately my teammates, because they're in sort of a different time zone, I wasn't able to actually keep up with them. So it was just better that like I kind of just enjoyed the show, which amazing tournament so far. I'm loving what I'm seeing. But one of the things that I remember discussing with them is when it comes to Dead by Daylight and tournaments for this game, you really can't treat it as like you're playing a casual or ranked game.
No,
like
you have to go full sweat, full try hard.
Exactly.
You have to.
Obviously, camping's not is not allowed in the rules, or at least it's not rewarded. Better said, because as you can see, if you're trying to camp, you're not really getting the full value of the point or on the hook. But it's interesting that tunneling and slugging to a certain extent is where you see those sweats happening, right? And again, your goal as a killer, especially when you're playing first as killer, is securing that death, because you're only valued at 1 point for each hook, right? So you want to make sure that you get all 2 stages of that hook before that death. And then of course for survivors, you're not really supposed to be wasting time and trying to kind of like troll a killer or looking for chests or doing any of that stuff, and not even touching totems, only the ones that are lit under. And be careful because you never know if you're going to get touched with haunted ground.
Right.
So very good stuff again from these teams. It looks like we're going to be going into the next match, or rather we're waiting for the next match to get into the lobby. We're going to be seeing Epic Gamers versus Ancestral.
I think actually Epic Gamers, and I think they've already played their match, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, they did. Thank you.
Yes.
There we go.
So it'll be Ancestral, but it'll be against 4 Dwights, 1 Locker, which I think is hilarious because it's such a meme in the community that only 4 Dwight survivors hide in the locker. That's all that they do.
You ever heard of basement parties?
No, please tell me.
Okay.
Tell me, because now I'm very interested. Because everyone hates the basement. If you're in the basement, you have to have a real friend on your team to go back and go get you. And if you're playing randoms and they go get you, you better add that person and make them your best friend.
So basement parties are basically when you take your entire survivor group and you go into the basement, you hide in the lockers, and you just start making a bunch of noises, right? And your goal is to attract the killer and pray that he doesn't kill you, right? Now, if he doesn't kill you, you can literally just like go around, and that's like a sign for like farming. But it's really fun because you just see a bunch of survivors like actually going in and out of the lockers, and then the killer comes down, and it's just like, what's happening?
I'm so confused. I definitely want to try that. We need to have, this is one big basement party. We just need to make that happen.
Right?
I want to do like a party stream and have like a bunch of people like play with us, and all of us dress as like our favorite survivors. I think that'd be such a good idea.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I wish we could have offlines again so we can actually like organize these cool parties. Remember, people, be sure to wear your masks and get your vaccines. Okay. Super important. The faster you get them and the faster you do that, the faster we can go offline. But I was thinking we could actually like create like a paper mache hook, and then like you dress up as your favorite survivor or as your favorite killer, right? And then everybody just comes in, and we can literally just like meme out like all the dressers, like the actual things that will hold like the party ornaments and stuff will be lockers. It's gonna be hype. It's gonna be hype.
That would be so cute. I would absolutely love that. I would love that. Have like a survivor party and a killer party too, or just make it one big thing. That would be hilarious.
Yes, that would be. Oh my gosh! Please bring us back offline.
Bring us back. We need it. We need that socialization. It needs to be here now.
Oh my goodness. Very, very fun stuff. But you know what else is fun? be sure to check out the CGL and Kunoichi socials.
Yes.
All right, they're on Twitter, they're on Instagram, they're on Twitch, and you can also check out the Dead by Daylight CGL Discord. If you're competing in this week as well as in the next weeks coming, the next 3 weeks that are left, you can be sure to join that Discord so you can get communication with our admins and mods. And also, on top of that, you can meet some new people.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah.
I'm trying to look and see. Okay, I'm actually going to go ahead and link their YouTube channel because they upload all their tournaments, all their highlights, anything that has to do with CGL. There is a link to their YouTube channel. So I went ahead and I put that in the chat for everyone.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at the map here. See what's going to be next. Torment Creek is going to be the next possible map.
Is that one on the Macamillion estate?
More corn.
Oh,
yes.
Lord. I'm so excited for that update, that graphics update. I think that's coming, this Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken.
I think those are my favorite updates, to be honest, when it comes to Dead by Daylight. Because remember when Dead by Daylight first started, right? Like the textures were just not really like kind of there. The horror element is still there.
Yes.
But the textures make the game so much more aesthetically pleasing. Now, speaking of aesthetically pleasing, I want to know, how do you feel about the all kill chapter? I want to know what you think about it.
Okay. All right.
Honest opinions.
So first, I really like that they've been going really all out on their chapters. So like one of the cool things that I've been really enjoying from just the content in Dead by Daylight is the fact that compared to the trailers, or not even the trailers, compared to like the screenshots and concept art that they would release at the beginning of like when they would release that new chapter, we started seeing actual like play-by-play animations. We started seeing like actual hype moments, teasers, trailers, guessings and whatnot. And one of the things I liked about the All Kill chapter is just how well they set it up. They spoke to people from the K-pop industry, as well as also reached out for animation. Like the trailer for the chapter was gorgeous. I was like, the trickster. I love him so much. The story too, they've gotten a lot better with their narratives on the lore. And quite honestly, I really, really enjoy it. Probably the only thing I would have maybe wanted more, but I know that they've been working on the graphics update, is because of it's because I would have wanted a sort of K-pop map. So sort of like on the streets of Seoul.
Yes.
That would probably been maybe the only thing I would have asked for extra. I do love the trickster. He is getting buffed, so pretty much the concerns that I kind of expected were already addressed, and the mid chapter patch is something that I always look forward to the most when a chapter comes out. But overall, a very beautifully crafted chapter. I cannot wait to see what else they have in store.
I feel like if they would have made that map for Trickster, I feel like it would be the only map that would be used because it'd be so pretty and so neon. And of course, like with this year, the cyberpunk aesthetic is kind of coming out to be more of everyone's type of aesthetic, coloring palette, stuff like that. So for me personally, I would be the only person, like not the only person, but I would be the only that map I would only use, just that map. But I do like the Silent Hill map quite a bit too. Any like big map I think is my favorite, just which I feel like with that kind of makes it seem like I like Survivor toward maps, I guess. But I don't know, like I think a map would have been really good. But yes, I do want to touch on the Resident Evil chapter.
Oh my gosh, yes. So you know what's crazy before you go into it real quick? Yes. It's been rumored or at least like wanted for so long. I would say maybe probably like the second or third year of this game. Reddit pages and Twitter were just constantly asking for a Resident Evil chapter, especially after Resident Evil 2. So it's amazing to see that Capcom's actually giving this opportunity and it's happening.
So And that's a good thing to point out too, because I remember Queen Frost, who we had spoke about earlier. Not only is she on TikTok, but she does stream as well. She's a huge DBD player. That's all that she streams, and she's very good. If you follow her on TikTok, she has the best looping and meme videos for Dead by Daylight. But basically, she had sent me a modded DBD playthrough, and it was like these pictures, like one of Leon and like his cop outfit. It was the Leon that was from the Resident Evil 2 remake. I think there was a Claire one, I think as well, but she was sending me these images and they looked real. Like I thought they were leaked, like it was going to be real, but it makes sense, especially for Resident Evil 8 Village that's going to be coming out under a month, as well as the 25th anniversary of Resident Evil. So of course, I think it's I think it's amazing timing. Now I do want to touch on the teaser because you know, like how Felix has he's got the Oxford type shoes.
Yes.
That's someone that Oh, is the game live? Okay, we'll talk about it right after this map.
No problem.
Right after this map. Getting a little too excited over Leon and Resident Evil, of course. We're gonna go ahead and jump right into this next match. Killer is going to be 4 Dwights, 1 Locker. Survivors is going to be Ancestral. Looks like we do have, is this another Oni?
This is another Oni. We're gonna already see Corrupt Intervention on the field. It's going to be 3 gens right now not available. And we do have a Survivor inner sight right now. Going to try to play some mind game. Yes, we are. Let's see if we're going to go for this full loop right now. Now choosing to... Oh, using the pallet first. I don't agree with the pallet. I feel like there could have been an extra loop that the Nancy could have done. But we do see our first Nancy and Cheryl on the board as well.
2 horror icons.
Absolutely. My queens.
Yes.
All right, so we do have another chase. This looks like to still be on the Nancy right now. We got Bloodlust already on the field. That's actually going to go away just as quick as it came. Not choosing to finish the chase. Now, remember with Corrupt Intervention, this does leave a bit of space to actually kind of chase and go off of the chase, but we do have also Ruin on the field as well. And yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about Ruin?
Oh, Cheryl's currently using Sprint Burst as we see. So with Ruin, it looks like all generators automatically regress at 100, 150, 200% with a normal regression speed whenever they are not being repaired. Looks like it's a hex that affects all Survivor generators' repair progress. And it is a hex totem.
We do have 1 gen done, so it does seem like some survivors are right now working on those gens. Definitely going to be a little bit crucial here for Dwights, as they're going to need to be able to find a good gen strategy. Still have a little bit of time to decide. We do have the power up happening. No, chooses to actually might be able to see it. There it is, the Nancy going right again after her. Actually using the window. Nancy's gonna need to be a little bit careful and a little bit smart with these window bolts. I'm really liking the looping right now from this Nancy, choosing to use this L-shaped loop to actually go back and forth. Oh, but chooses to go through that bolt, and that is gonna be that's gonna be a 1-hit KO, and that's actually gonna put the first point for 4 Dwights on the board. We already have Ancestral with 4 points, doing 2 gens. All right, it does appear that Ruin might be off of the board right now. And we did get word that Ruin is off of the board, so that is a huge advantage right now for these survivors. They can come and go as they please on these gens, and they won't get punished for it. We do hear a gen right now. Gonna go after the Atom, the first Atom of the night, I believe.
Yes. Now, I am surprised we don't see at least 1 Dwight, but hey.
Maybe in the next phase, perhaps. I think we have 2 survivors right now. I'm not sure if Pop Goes the Weasel was active for that generator. It has been a while since they got that hook. They're gonna go back to chasing the Atom right now. Did lose the chase, so Bloodlust is not in fact. It's actually counting up again. Gonna miss that window right there. It was too far to actually lunge on it. We see some scratch marks next to this gen. Let's see if there's anybody. There's the Cheryl with her sprint burst, going vroom, vroom, vroom into the fields. Oh, we have two. We have Nancy and we have Cheryl. It's gonna get actually hit on that vault.
The window vaults are so tricky. You have to really make sure that you time it and make sure you get enough distance in order to have a successful vault.
Yes, absolutely. Very crucial. We are going to go back. There was someone working on it, and it wasn't Adam. We do have Oni powered up once again. Now, a little bit of a difference between this Oni and the last one is we're not seeing too many injured survivors on the field. So it's taking a lot longer for this killer to actually be able to charge up power. Has to use these resources very wisely right now. Choosing to go through the main house instead. Actually going to use the charge to go to this gen. Are we going to see anybody? No, we are not. We do see some scratch marks though. All right, gonna go here and see if there's someone. Where are these pesky survivors? That's the one thing about this map. You kind of have to watch these really tight corners.
Yes, I think that's such a pain, especially in first-person view. And there's already so much that you had to focus on, not only just with hearing and like with visuals, specifically too. And something I want to point out as well, that we're not seeing any like unique, bright, colorful outfits. We're seeing very dark and dim. I think the last couple of weeks that I've commentated personally, I saw like a couple colorful outfits, but I think if you're not too good at seeing very well within the game, it's always good to try and rely on your hearing, because when it comes to this game, like in being on the hunt for something, hearing is just as important as seeing. It's very important.
Absolutely. We do see that this is going to be that last gen. It's taking too long on these chases, and that's what's going to happen with some of these survivors. We still only have 1 point for 4 Dwights. And it does appear that nobody's on that gate right now. We are going to go back into another chase. Definitely, this is going to be kind of crucial for Dwight to get some form of value off of this. Not really able to get out of these loops, and that's kind of like the tricky part about this map, is just trying to be able to cut off these loops as early as possible. I believe we're going to try to go and check the gate right now. That's about 70%, maybe a little bit more, that Cheryl was able to do in that sprint burst. Activating. Gonna go after the Nancy, gonna go back to the gate to try to guard it. This is a really tight spot. Really tight spot right now.
We just got word that there was firecrackers used, which is allowed.
Yes. Interesting too, because that's like more, that tends to be a special item, especially for like the lunar and the winter seasons, winter events. But that Nancy choosing to actually go for the firecrackers, gonna choose to bring down that pallet early, gonna keep on that loop happening, gonna try to go after Cheryl. That gate is open right now, so that's full steam home. And here we go. Gonna try to chase after. Unfortunately, that's gonna be 4 survivors escaped. And quite surprising, that's actually our first full survivor team out of the gate.
Well done to Ancestral, but good try for 4 Dwights, 1 Locker. Good try for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those that were curious, the Oni was carrying Modern Abuse, Corrupt, Pop, and Ruin. Definitely the Modern Abuse I probably would not have wanted. I feel like this was probably best to do a little bit more of survivor searching, maybe try to use a perk like Whispers or a tracking perk. That was such a, that's just a testament to how strong a surviving team can be when you have good communication and just full knowledge of how well you can loop a killer. Like we mentioned before, that map is a little tricky when it comes to looping, especially for the Oni, because you can't really just run around and actually like take the charge and actually go after one hit KOs like that. It's kind of difficult for someone to actually be able to get that hit, especially when they're using corners and those tree barks so well. So very good games though.
They did very well. I do want to point out that I got I got personally confused, because I'm like, wait, killer, survivor. For some reason I thought the survivors were 4 Dwights, 1 Locker. That's why like I noticed and I'm like, wait, they're not gonna have a Dwight because it's not that team. But I do want to point out,
you never know. You never know.
I haven't had enough of this. I haven't had enough of this yet. I will say, Candy had a question. What killer do you guys want to see for this week? We want to see our husbandos, which you know, you and I, Saki, we're very, very much into like our men of Dead by Daylight. I do survivors that I do want to see. I do want to see a Felix, even though he's one of the slowest. I do like the fact that we're seeing more of like the DLC characters, Cheryl, which I've called Heather a couple times just because of, you know,
It's still
Silent Hill lore.
valid. It's still valid though.
Still valid. I do want to see a Steve because Steve and Felix, like those are my personal mains. But for killers, if someone could just play Ghostface just one time.
Can someone play Pyramid Head or Trickster? Listen, I will be
Trickster.
okay. I will be okay with Trickster or with Pyramid Head, but please give me Pyramid Head. Last week, you gave Candy her husbando. Okay, I didn't forget. All right, I saw it as soon as it went live. As soon as I saw on Twitter, like probably the day after, right? Someone posted, and Candy's husbando, the Trickster, has made their appearance. I'm like, first off, okay, I'll give it to you, Candy, because I do have too many husbandos. Right? I admit it. I'm the first one.
Rocky's list is like this.
I legit have like a harem of husbandos. So you know what? I'm allow it. So for this week, I would want to see a Pyramid Head for sure.
Because we've seen him within the tournament, and I think if I'm not mistaken, I think we did see one Ji-woon. I'm pretty sure within like the past couple of weeks we've seen it maybe once, if I'm not mistaken. We have seen Pyramid Head about once or twice. So seeing him, especially with Oni, I think those are my two hype killers that I definitely like seeing. Now,
you know what's crazy though? Because when I was competing, one of the meta characters or some of the meta killers were Freddy, were Spirit, and Nurse. Right. And I know in the first week we saw quite a bit. We saw a lot of spirits and nurses, and of course the rule to actually, ban some killers were happening. But I find it so interesting right now that like Oni is such a meta killer for these type of things, which is not bad, but it's just again another testament that Dead by Daylight tournaments you can't play them the same as a normal gameplay.
You have to, especially in a competitive setting, and this just goes for all games too, like you can't just, I feel like if you're so used to competing and you're comfortable, you can play like how you want. But the thing with competitive is like you want to play smart. You want to really make sure you can hone in on those skills and actually use them in like a competitive setting, because any like tiny little mistake or any something, if you didn't like prioritize like a specific thing, especially during like a killer match, you could lose the entire game just over one thing you didn't prioritize.
Absolutely. And this is where you kind of have to see which killers are more useful in these situations, right? And also too, it's also dependent on how well you can play them. What's also something too that a lot of people don't factor is also what platform, because when I was competing, cross play wasn't really happening at the time. And so a lot of people would, obviously if you were on PC, it was Nurse. And if you were on console, it would be Pig, because Pig is still pretty big on like PS4 and Xbox. And if you were on PS4, it would be Pigs, Freddy, and Spirit. And now to kind of see that crossplay happen and a lot of these killers touched, there's still some killers that benefit based on what platform you're on. But on that same time, again, just seeing the variety that you can do and you can kind of practice on is always really good.
Now, I do want to ask, because you and I recently, during our time in the mic, we talked about having Dead by Daylight on different platforms. Because me and you, we have it on PC, PS4, and we do have it on our Switches. Yep. So when you play it on Switch, what killer do you see the most?
If and when? So this is an interesting question because with the Switch, the graphics, of course, are a little bit more toned down. So it can be different. But I have to say, probably I've seen more Demigorgons, actually.
Yes, I agree.
which is interesting because you don't really see a lot of demigorgons out there. And I think I've probably seen the trappers, so probably the base killers, because you have to remember too, like when you have the game on like 3 different platforms and cross progression doesn't really exist that way. Not many people are gonna just go in and be like, here's $100 for all of the content that I had on PS4 and PC. Not saying that I do that. I do. I'm sorry.
I do too. It's so bad because for us personally as well, especially when we started streaming here on Twitch, we started off as PS4. You know, the majority of like same with like Mortal Kombat for us, because me and Saki, that's how we met. We met through Babality, which is an all women's community of just Mortal Kombat players. Most of our memory and most of our gaming progress is on our PS4s. So when we both had switched to PC recently, of course, you know, better loading times, better graphics. Yes. It's just more easier whenever you stream and you have a gaming PC. It's just it's chef's kiss, just 10 times easier. Yes. When you start off on a new like platform, you don't have as much progress. Now, I will say with Switch, playing on the Switch, as nice as it is to be on the go, with your video games and everything, I wish the graphics were so much nicer on this. And I understand that it's not really able to have that capacity just yet. But it would be nice that the loading times for this would be just a tad bit faster. Because for me, like with the totem of lobby loadings, for me it's like Switch, PS4, and PC. And I know with PS4 and PC, and I know it's like all crossplay at this point, but if I'm just playing on my Switch, it takes like a good 15 minutes just to load into like one lobby. It's pretty terrible.
Yeah, Dead by Daylight is always going to have that. Remember, it is also too a bit of an old game, but you kind of reminded me of a nickname that you used to have for the Demigorgon.
Oh my god, because he looks like a rotten avocado. He looks Demogorgon. That was probably one of the first chapters that I got really, really hyped about. And I was when I started playing Dead by Daylight with Saki, and I had just watched all of the seasons of Stranger Things, so that's my personal favorite show. As soon as I saw a Demogorgon, I'm like, I'm gonna be a Steve main. It's gonna be so lit. And I remember it's actually on Saki's YouTube channel as well. Me, Saki, and our friend Sega was playing with us, and this Demogorgon was just hitting us and launching us, and it was just like, it was avocado.
Probably one of my favorite collaborations we probably have ever done in the past, just because I remember I was just like, oh, that's a thing, and then you're just like, where are you, avocado looking butt?
Stupid avocado cantaloupe looking, because it's just so nasty looking. But I like the fact that they had. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get back to the game. We'll talk about more about that and like the killer designs and everything too, because Saikuno he had me look at this really sus looking skin, but we'll get back to that after this coming match. And it looks like next up, so we have Ancestral this time as killer, and then 4 Dwights and 1 Locker. I better see a Dwight in this Survivor team, at least.
I know, right?
Just one time.
You can't all be Dwights, but at least have 1 Dwight for your name, please.
Just one. It would make more sense and calm my OCD down. I'm curious to see what killer, because I know most of the time if you're on the loading screen for Dead by Daylight, if you look where that text says, it's gonna have the killer, and it's gonna give you a hint of like what the killer is gonna be, or it'll just flat out say it. So I wonder what killer we're gonna see. Do you have any predictions before we see the screen?
I'm looking into the future. I'm reading my tarot cards, and I'm going to say we're gonna have a Freddy. I'm gonna say Freddy.
Oh.
I probably could be dead wrong, but
we haven't seen a Freddy at all this whole tournament that I know of. If one of the admins can correct me, if you guys have seen one, definitely let me know. But no, we have not seen one. So let's take a look.
We do have one, right? We do
one
have
Freddy.
Wait, are we? Oh yes!
Saki! The tarot cards were right. That's right.
Yo. No, that's scary. Hold on. Let me make sure. Let me make sure that like Freddy's not haunting my like.
Good call. Oh my days. Good call.
Alrighty, this is actually gonna be hype because of the rework. When I last saw Freddy in tournament, he was very well done, but people didn't were not able to see him until they entered a dream state. Now this Freddy's completely different with their rework. And I believe they have another add-on rework happening soon, but here we go, setting up some of the dream stuff. Gonna be not teleporting? No teleports.
All right, let's take a look.
All right, it does seem that we are setting up those dream ones. We also have all survivors in the dream world as well. Oh, one survivor already on deck, and that's actually going to do a sprint burst. And we do see some of the traps. Oh, that's a Kate, actually. Here we go. Going after the Kate. Now, when you are in the Dreamverse against Freddy, you cannot hear his heartbeat. You can only hear his lullaby. And in addition to that, many of the actions in the dream world are slowed down. And we do now see Kate going down. Are we near the basement?
And I will say as well, so some hooks that we do see here, not for you guys, but us behind the scenes. So this Freddy is running Corrupt, Ruin, Haunted Grounds, and Tinkerer. Tinkerer we have not seen. It looks like Haunted Ground is active currently.
Oh, this is going to be quite dangerous for some of these survivors, especially with Haunted right now just recently activated. We're going to be going after the Dwight right now. And there it is. 1 KO right there. That's going to actually be 2 hooks already for Ancestral.
And for the Tinkerer perk, it looks like whenever a generator is repaired to 70%, it triggers a loud noise notification and you are granted the undetectable status effect for the next 12, 14, or 16 seconds. And that is a hillbilly perk.
Oh, that Kate, unfortunately, is going to get caught in that wall there. That's quite unfortunate. Unfortunately, that is something that is apparent right now on this map, which kind of sucks. That's why you got to make sure you study your maps before you compete. But with also that in mind, we do have the undetectable status happening right now. Tinkerer active because of that, like Hannah said. Now this is interesting because all these survivors are in the dream state. So this undetectable status is like 10 times better for our Freddy here right now. Not going to be able to be detected by those perks like us. I believe maybe Spine Shield may not be detecting it, as well as oh my goodness, I can't remember the perk off the top of my head, but that's okay. We're going to be going after another survivor right now. We still have 1 down. More than likely haven't been able to actually find them. And here we go. We're going to go after the Yui.
Were you thinking of Premonition, Saki?
Thank you. That was the name I was thinking of. There's too many perks. I love it, but there's too many perks.
All right, so we're going to go ahead. Yeah, and grab that Yui. And looks like that is going to be a point for Ancestral. I am happy to see it fight for once.
Right? Oh, so it looks like the Nancy actually has a Cheryl perk. Or rather, yeah, no, it's a Cheryl perk. One of my favorite perks, because that stops the killers from actually stomping on the generator. However, that is going to cost the Nancy. She's going to go down within the cornfield and she's going to get on that hook. All right, and here we go, going after the Kate. Once again, I believe this Kate is still on second hook, did not go down the last time. She was injured. Now, the cool thing about Freddy with this rework that he got is his lunge is still pretty active. So even if you're trying to go for a pretty far away target, the lunge is still probably gonna hit. We do also have one other survivor no longer in the dream state. Looks like they found an alarm clock, probably.
Oh, good. Nice, nice. That way they can go ahead and we can run the current dream state.
I really like the gen pressure right now here from our Freddy. Right now, there's still 4 gens left on the board, and we already have 2 survivors on the hook and 2 other survivors yet to be falling asleep. The Yui very close in default, going into the dream world where Freddy will haunt her dreams.
I also have a quick question about Freddy, Saki, if you're able to
Yes.
answer it. So you know when you pop a gen and the
Mm-hmm.
blood comes out of it, what does that mean?
So, the only time the blood is an actual factor, like an actual worrisome factor, is if he's teleporting to it. If he is just hitting it, it is actually just a dream effect. So you know how in the movies he actually like things would actually explode in blood if they
Yes.
exploded. That's supposed to give the effect on it.
Oh, so it's like paying homage to the films.
Yes, that's actually one of the biggest things about Freddy. And that you kind of see here in Dead by Daylight. A lot of it is based off of the remake, so don't get too excited. The remake is actually the base of this Freddy. But we do see another survivor coming close here, getting caught in the dream snare. Okay, we're gonna go after the Kate right now. She does have sprint burst, so she wasn't able to avoid that lunge. Oh, and there goes that lunge. Like I said, that's pretty active once you go past that vault. Very clutch there. Was like probably maybe a frame less and it wouldn't have hit. All right, nice choice to go and turn their back. Here we go. We're gonna see the pallet drop, and we are, but that's gonna trade. And we're actually gonna go to that generator as it's very close. It's about 80% right now. We got the teleport and right off of it too. That was quite exciting right there. Just another factor in how powerful Freddy can be. All right. Yui going down right now. That's gonna be a point for Ancestral. So I know a couple of people, I especially seen in chat, saying that Tinker is kind of useless on Freddy, but that's why, that right there, that scenario that we just saw, is exactly why Tinker is a very good perk for him as far as actually getting that notification. Because a simple teleport, and bam, you're already there. And reminder that Freddy is allowed his green add-ons, and because of that, his teleport was going faster than the usual. And that's gonna be Nancy. She's gonna go on that hook right now. That was actually another hook. Oh my!
This Freddy is playing so intense right now. Like they know why they're there, they know what they're doing, and they're killing it. No pun intended, but they are killing it right
now. We do want to confirm from backstage from our admins that the Nancy and Dwight did go to second hook before they got unhooked. However, because Freddy was not camping the hook, they do get a point. So Ancestral is going to be getting that point, and that's why it's going to be totaling up to 30 points right now on the board. Not looking too good at all for 4 Dwights, even if there is going to be an escape, but we'll definitely see how it goes. We do have Kate right now on the ground, with Dwight still alive. Let's go, Dwight! Don't be hiding.
Go, Dwight. You better not be hiding one of them shacks. No tool sheds for you.
All right, and we're gonna go ahead and pick up the Kate and make sure she goes on that hook right there. And I believe this might be, if we are able to find the Dwight before the hatch opens, this might be our first 4K, if I'm not mistaken, of the night. All right, so we are looking for the Dwight, and there he is, running into the fields. Nice diagonal tracking right now. That's actually going to hit him for 1. Let's see if he can get the second one before the hatch comes up.
The speed that this Freddy has is absolutely unreal.
It's great to see a Freddy really know what their survivor's doing. If you can see, look, a straight line, perfect game sense, and right there knocks down the Dwight. And here we go. Gonna pick him up, and that's gonna seal the deal with Ancestral at 33 points. And I would like to point out, I think that's the max points possible between Survivor and Killer combined. Oh.
So it would equal up to 36.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So 34-7 right now is the total.
Beautiful work there from our Freddy. And that is actually going to be taking Ancestral moving on. And unfortunately for Dwight's not able to hide in that locker, they will be heading to outside of the tournament. We'll hopefully see them next week. But yeah, Ancestral moving on. And I believe this is going to be pretty soon semifinals.
Yes. And for the semifinals, so we do have, Ancestral, and it'll be versus Vama as well. And I believe that will be the last match, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yes.
I must say that Freddy, first off, I called it.
You did. Like our Orchid, our producer that's doing the production and everything, she's like, I got so giddy. She put all caps, good call. Like so I will want to point out as well, on top of that too, Psychono in chat, or Psychono, I'm getting so excited I can't even talk. Psychona in chat was like, we actually had one Freddy this past tournament. This is the second Freddy that we've seen. I'm surprised a lot of people aren't using them. And I did not know that this Freddy is based off of the Nightmare Freddy. I mean, he is called the Nightmare, of course, but it's not from the original films. Do you know why that is?
So, licensing. So, unfortunately, and this can kind of go the same way as well, for Michael Myers, and some of the other licensed killers as well. There's a certain point where they can get licensing to, and you also have to kind of remember that, like, lore wise, you can't really, go past that certain, like, licensing, narrative, you could say. So the whole idea is that instead of it being the original Freddy Krueger, from the older, like, 70s and 80s movies, they chose to use the remaster as the perfect way to kind of explain why the Dead by Daylight universe has Freddy, and that's why we still see Quentin, and for example, and not Nancy.
That's true.
Quentin supposedly was like one of the people from, like, the movie that was still haunted by Freddy, and Freddy was still really trying to get. What's actually really crazy is if you look at his lore too, he actually explains, like, that in Quentin found out that Nancy's mom disappeared, because that's what happens in the movie. Freddy picks her out, and, like, Nancy's like, what? And Quentin was actually like, this isn't over. This is never over. And so that's why he still stays up, and why the entity was so intrigued, in making sure that he could take Quentin, or rather the entity could take Quentin and Freddy. And the same thing goes again for, like, the pig and Michael Myers. Michael Myers actually is based off of, if I'm not mistaken, the second movie of Halloween. So the oldest second movie is where our Michael Myers in Dead by Daylight is based out of.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who do you think is the most loved husbando wise within, like, the community? Because I see a lot of Michael Myers, other than Trickster, because everyone loves Ji-woon. However, we're all fans of Ji-woon, but
yes,
for me personally, I see only Michael Myers or Ghostface be the only ones with, like, the community that's just like, oh my god, like, I need you to step on me right now.
So I definitely want to say it has to be Michael Myers, and then right after Ghostface. I know that Trapper was sort of that character,
Daddy.
but he fell off really quick. Not just by appearance, because they really didn't go behind the appearance after him. They kind of just really more focused on, like, just developing his story, and a lot of people kind of forgot about him as more killers came up. But definitely, I would have to say Michael Myers is probably the biggest husbando that a lot of the Dead by Daylight community love, for sure.
My friend Chesney, she plays this game at a pretty casual level, like I do for the most part. And Michael Myers in the Halloween films is, like, her absolute favorite. So I remember when I introduced her to the series and to the game, she has it on Switch, and I'm like, they have Michael Myers, right? And she's like, what? Like, she was absolutely, like, all over it. She's like, I'm getting the Halloween chapter and be a Lori main. She's like, I love it. But what's really funny is that she's a Doctor main. And actually, a lot of people are Doctor mains that you and I are both friends with. Mm-hmm. So she only plays Doctor typically.
So Doctor, it's crazy that Doctor.
He makes me rage. I hate Doctor, but I can appreciate him as a killer. I can
I feel like they
appreciate it.
shouldn't have touched him. I really feel like they shouldn't have touched him. If anything, any rework that he had would have should have just gone into his add-ons, to be
Mhm.
honest,
I agree.
because his power is just it's kind of ridiculous in a sense because of the fact that he can use it so easily. So he's gotten definitely way more annoying in these last patches for
Mhm.
sure. Um, but I definitely just gotta say Michael Myers, especially when they came out with his hospital skin. The amount of fan art I saw.
Oh my god. It's sinful. It's almost sinful seeing it. Now, something that I talked about with Psychona as well, we had talked about, he had mentioned legendary skins, and I remember talking to Kate about this as well on Steam before. Kate Stahl, she's one of my best friends. Now, something that I want to see more of the legendary skins. I do want to see for example, Bubba, or for Texas Chainsaw Massacre Leatherface. I do want to see the pretty woman skin where he's in like the nice dinner suit and he's got like the woman mask with the makeup and like the hair. I want to see that so bad. I do want to see for Clown at least a Pennywise mask, because I know with or a Pennywise I'm looking at my big Pennywise statue as I say this, but seeing a some type of like costume, if not abilities for him, and I think would be quite amazing. You know how much I love Pennywise. You know I'm such a huge fan of him.
Absolutely.
That would be my dream person to see, but I understand that we already have a clown.
You know what's actually really interesting? You know that this game has obviously come from a legacy of the first game Evolve, I think it was called. And then this game came out right after. And there's been a couple of copycats in terms of like we had last year, we had Friday the 13th, we had their own version too. I'm trying to remember exactly which one that one was called, but um, what really makes this game work so well is the fact that they've been able to add some of our most iconic horror characters into this game and almost make them work perfectly as far as it comes to lore. Like you really don't hear people be like, why is Freddy or Leatherface in this game? And it's like when you read the lore and when you see how it works, you're like, oh yeah, I could totally see them doing that for like eons and eons, just trying to live, and actually do that. So that's one of the cool things about Dead by Daylight is that the source material, apart from actually creating their own original characters,
Mhm.
is so bountiful, and part of the reason why this game has lasted for so long. And I also wanted to mention that I remember you. I know you were talking before we went into the last match about how like we've gone through so many platforms
Yes.
and how we start on PC, like
Mhm.
PS4, and like recently now we play more on PC.
Mhm.
And what's crazy is that like I used to play on PC. When this game first came out, so when it was in like alpha or beta,
Mhm.
I was actually playing this game and I couldn't really fully play it because of the specs that I had at the time.
Mhm.
But this game at that time plays so differently than like honestly 5 years ago. So 5 years ago, I was playing a different Dead by Daylight, and it's crazy because the idea of the game hasn't changed, but how to get there is always entertaining and still refreshing. So definitely one of the things that I love about Dead by Daylight is how current it can feel. And again, these chapters definitely have been getting better and better, for sure.
They've definitely evolved and kind of just modernized horror. And now, I did say on stream recently, one of my mods was like, they're kind of like tooting their own horn, saying that they're in like this hall of fame for horror games. I kind of agreed, and then I kind of disagreed with it. I disagreed with it from like a horror aspect. But now that we're kind of talking, I'm gonna switch my opinion because they have intertwined a lot of iconic horror, a lot of iconic horror killers and everything, lots of content. They just kind of keep like the community, they keep the players fed with content.
Yes.
Like I feel like for this game, like you always just find yourself coming back to it. Whether you played 5 years ago, whether you play it now, whether it's like super, super casual or very competitive, as you guys are seeing today, this game just, it keeps having you come right back to it. Now, looks like we're gonna go ahead and move on to one of our semi-final matches. Looks like it is Ancestral for Killer, Vama for Survivors. So this is the last team's head-to-head team that we're gonna be seeing here tonight.
Alrighty. And I think we might, if it's going to be ancestral, we might see another Freddy again. I would love to see if they change the killer, just because I'm always kind of the person that I like to have a couple killers on my
belt.
Yeah, on your like
roster.
Yeah, because you never know. You never know who's watching, and if you want to change up some of the strategy. But we'll definitely see what we got. Hopefully, we do get the Freddy. I'm loving Freddy. I gotta be honest. So
me too. Absolutely, super, super, super hype and aggressive to watch. I love aggressive killers. And yes, there it is. The Nightmare once again back for blood. And looks like we already have chase to a, is that a Claudette I'm seeing? They're moving very fast.
Yes, it is a Claudette. And it looks like we do get that first hit in. I really like how this Freddy tracks. I also like the mind games that it's trying to implement, so I'm really liking it. Does just throw down that pallet pretty early. This is a good loop if it's not broken in time. Does try to do the 360, not gonna be able to do it.
And it looks like it's the exact same perks that was played last match. Ruin, Corrupt, Haunted Grounds, and Tinkerer.
Yeah, definitely a good choice of and selection of a perk build. It really worked out for them in the last game. It looks like we're gonna go after this Ace right now, scoring up a really nice look, if I can say so myself. And that's gonna be another hit. I kind of agree with the break off the chase. This is a little bit of a hard loop to go after and be a little bit consistent. And since that hook is going to be already unhooked the Claudette, we're going to try to go after the Quinton right now. And it does appear we may be seeing a Hex on the field. It looks like it's Ruin. And that is actually going to be still active. It is in the shack right now. Ooh, we got someone screaming. Hello?
Hello? Are you alright?
Wow. I don't think they're. Oh my goodness! Did you see that? That was a full-on grab off of the gen.
I'm speechless.
That was very OD. Again, I want to remind everyone that if you are in the spirit world, you cannot hear Freddy. You have to keep a lookout. You have to search your surroundings. Make sure you're aware of what's going on. And here we go. We have another screaming boy. It's gonna be Quinton right now. Oh, beautiful set on the trap. Okay. Oh, we see Claudette again. She's gonna be going down. Yes, she is. Now, I don't believe she's going to have Decisive Strike on her right now. So this is actually in favor of Freddy, where we're going to be able to see Claudette back on the hook. I believe this is going to be her second hook right now.
And to think about Dead by Daylight, when it comes to these matches, specifically when you're a survivor, your time can end so quickly if you're not careful. So like Saki said, be aware of your surroundings when playing this game, specifically when you're against a Freddy.
Absolutely. And it turns out that Claudette is actually going to go into the full death stage, already served nice and pretty to the entity. And we're going to see Ace go down here. I believe the basement is also in the killer shack right now. No, it is not, I guess. It is not. We're going to go outside of the shack instead.
And that is 5 points for killer. Looks like we have 6 for survivor.
It's actually tied?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh no.
You know what's crazy is that this is how you know the match is actually like really epic right now, because we definitely see survivors doing their part. So even though some of them are going down a little too quick, they're definitely trying to work together to get the as many points as possible, especially when it comes to these generators. Um, and here we go. We're gonna go after the Quentin right now. He's gonna try to go for the loop. This is a pretty big loop, and if played correctly, Quentin can keep up that loop as long as that pallet's still there, and still down right now. We're gonna actually see that pallet right there. There you go. Um, the best thing Freddy can do is probably break that pallet. That's going to take up a lot of time right now for the other survivors being able to actually
Nice.
do a generator. And a very good job there from Quentin in actually making that happen. And here we go. Just as I mentioned, this is going to be an 80% gen. Not choosing to teleport, just going to walk right up very quietly.
Gonna sneak on up there.
We got an ace right now who's injured. Gonna go for the full chase. And here we go, trying to confuse. Gonna go over the pallet. There we go.
Very questionable why they didn't hook Quentin. Do you think they're trying to use the slugging technique?
Yes, I definitely think so. You have to remember too, if the time spent to hook Quentin, they could have gotten this gen done. With the gen now off, I believe Ruin is still active. So that generator is just going to pretty much go down and decrease the percentage it was done. And that's going to keep people off. And that's actually going to be another survivor going to the entity right now.
So it looks like the current points, it is 9-6.
All right, and here we go. We're going to go after the Nia right now. She's going to be in the dream world. She's going to be affected by all of those dream snares right now. Gonna not teleport? I feel like that was not going to be a teleport. This is a bit of another L loop shape, so it's really up to the Quentin and how they're communicating to see if they're going to actually be able to finish the next gen. I would say if they do get this next gen, it's going to be a really nice way to kind of end the game if all of these two survivors go down. That is going to be a vault no longer able to be used. There's 2 totems right now, and that's actually going to be shown more than likely haunted grounds and ruin. So these survivors have not touched one single hex totem, and Nia's going to go on the hook right now. Now, right now, probably the best thing for Quentin is to just stay out of sight and hopefully find the hatch.
Yes.
Not sure if I would agree if there's a gen that pops, especially with Tinker in play right now. You definitely want to be careful about that. So the best thing right now is probably to find that hatch for Quentin.
Yeah, and basically just overall survive.
Yeah.
Now, we will mention as well, remind everyone of the rules that keys and chests are not allowed. They are banned within this tournament. So as soon as that hatch is closed...
Can't open it again.
Nope. You gotta find a door at least.
And there it goes. That was the hatch. Very good stuff there from the Quentin. Smart play there from Nia to actually kill herself and get the point. Better to have Quentin take at least one more point, which is like I mentioned before, if they can get that at least 1 gen or 1 escape, definitely that would have helped quite a bit. And it did. It looks like Quentin will be able to leave Vama at 8 points versus Ancestral. I believe the Claudette had a point, or rather the Claudette was supposed to be added as a death point. So I'm sure production will update that score very shortly. But we are going to see Vama and Ancestral switch over, with Vama going to be on the killer side and Ancestral on the survivor side.
Very well done. So with Vama, I don't think, did we see? We did see Vama play, didn't we? They are an Oni, correct?
Yes, it was Oni-chan.
Oni-chan.
They actually had a really great Oni. It was actually the Oni that was able to keep up with the chases and actually use, I believe in the last match, Infectious Fright, to actually use a way to notify and track survivors. So I'm really excited to see how it's going to work out. I also know Ancestral, I believe, was one of the first teams to actually have a 4-man survivor team leave. So this is actually going to be a pretty good challenge for Ancestral. Oh, sorry, for Vama.
Absolutely. Now, with the infectious fright, that is a plague perk, correct?
Yes, yes, it is. It's one of those perks where as soon as you knock down, I believe it is, if it's not obsession, it is a regular survivor,
Mhm.
and it will actually make other survivors scream in fright.
I like that. That way you're able to hear not exactly, but you're able to hear a good vicinity as to where the survivor will be.
Yes, very crucial for tracking.
Now, but when they're, because I know they're currently loading up the lobby right now, I want to ask you, because you're incredibly good at Killer, probably one of the best that I know other than Autumn GX herself. Tell me your dream build. What's your go-to build? Because you talked
Ooh.
about having a roster of killers. I want to talk about that for a second.
So, okay, so this is actually interesting. So if it's spirit, I actually like to use the build make your choice, haunted
Mm,
grounds,
okay.
ruin, and I tend to switch between depending on how much pressure I want to put on the gens, because I'd like to play spirit pretty fast. So if it's like a fast build, I definitely want to probably maybe have like uh what is the Myers perk? It's save the best for last.
Okay.
So I like to play around with those perks, especially as spirit. If I'm doing like, for example, I actually have one for I think it's for the trickster, where I'm probably building like a slowing down progression build. So I'm probably gonna have like Pop Goes the Weasel, and I believe Sloppy Butcher, and
Mhm.
probably Statinophobia. And I think if I have one last one, it's just probably like a cooldown perk.
Okay. So who would be like your most toxic killer when you're like all sadistic,
Oh,
stocky? Who's your most toxic? Let's talk about that.
so if it's more toxic, I'd have to say the pig.
Yes.
And
That's new.
there is one more. There is one more. I would have to say it be the. I would have to say it would be the Legion, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because I remember you were playing Deathslinger for a good amount and
I
you
love
got
this.
really, really good with them. I don't think I've ever seen you play Legion before. I know with Spirits, your girl mainly.
Yes. So the Death Slinger is actually probably one of my favorite characters when he came out. I actually really, really love how he plays. I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's a Call of Duty and Dead by Daylight," but the thing about the Death Slinger is he's very focused on actually injuring your opponent and slowing them down.
Mhm.
So, like a lot of the times, what survivors don't realize is that they have to take time to um, help with the deep wound that they got.
Mhm.
And so, with Legion and the Death Slinger, I can literally just keep chasing them and keep like sort of taunting them, and they won't be able to finish their objective. And that's the thing about killers too. When you're playing this game for so long, is you kind of know what type of team you're going up against. Are you going up against a team that likes to gen rush? Or are you going up against a team that likes to be a little bit toxic and likes to loop you around? And
Like a
so a
Steve
lot of,
Maiden.
yeah, basically.
And then with speaking of Steve mains, like
Mhm.
survivors, so what would be like a toxic survivor build for you, or like your best build? Because you typically play, is it Yui?
So I play Yui. My main is Lori, but
Yes.
that
Hmm.
changed actually to Cheryl.
Hmm.
And I actually play Cheryl more, or Heather, whichever you want to like call.
Same
Um,
difference.
yeah, and I play her, Yui, and Lori, and so probably the most toxic build in general as Survivor is honestly Decisive Strike. Um, Pre nerf Decisive Strike. I haven't checked out how it works now in this last patch. But Dead Hard, and Dead Hard is probably the most toxic perk out of everything.
I agree.
Um, Let me see what else. Borrowed Time for sure. And at one point, it used to be Medal of Man. which is the Ash perk. And that perk, it used to be OD, let me tell you. That perk, before it got nerfed, it was like all the killers hated it. It was like another Dead Hard, basically.
Take a look. Because now, Medal of Man. Okay, after triggering your third protection hit, Medal of Man activates and you're protected by the endurance effect. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Any damage taken that would put you into dying state. That's, oh my god. That's incredible.
That's toxic.
That's toxic.
But we're going to see how toxic this next team's going to be with Bama on Killer and Ancestral on Survivor. Now, like I want to mention before, because of Quentin being able to escape, that was actually 2 points that they were able to secure. So with Bama on Killer, they're going to be playing Nurse, and they're going to have to definitely make it work, but seeming a lot prettier than what they could have not been.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Nurse too. I just wish it was better at her.
I remember that I was going to start playing Nurse in the beginning, and Autumn literally she DM'd me, or as soon as I started my stream, she's like, don't play Nurse! I'm like, why? She's like, because she's slow, she's hard to use. She's like, just use someone a little bit more beginner friendly, because I was still playing the game and everything. Like I was still kind of a baby at it. And that's when I switched to Ghostface. But yes, Nurse, you have to be extremely, extremely patient when you play Nurse.
If you look here, we are trying to find the Adam. It does seem like he was able to escape for just a little bit. And here we go. We are going to restart the chase again. And like we mentioned, that is a perfect example. By playing the Nurse belongs in skillful hands. You gotta be very precise on those blinks, and definitely make sure you're precise on the tracking of her weapon. And here we go. That's going to be a missed blink with Adam being able to escape home free right now.
Mm-hmm.
And here we go. Gonna go straight for the Adam. Still not able to catch the lunge, losing a lot of time right now in actually trying to catch this Adam. Gonna break the chase. We're gonna try to go after the Claudette right now. See if we have a little bit more luck. Unfortunately, another missed lunge attack that's gonna hurt this killer right now. Pretty big right now. Oh, beautiful mix up here. That blink though is gonna hit at this point. We're gonna have Claudette injured at this moment. And here we go, restarting the chase with the Adam. Unfortunately, mistiming that second blink is actually gonna cost this killer. We have 2 survivors now in play. Unfortunately, another missed blink. These precise blinks are so important, everyone. You have no idea how much missed opportunity right now this killer is losing. And with this move, though, this is going to put survivors, Ancestral, doing a really good job right now. And just applying some pressure on the gens. And there we go, 2 gens on the board.
Nice. I also want to point out as well, so the perks that this Nurse is currently using, we have Corrupt, Infectious Fright, and we have Ruin. It looks like these
That is crazy. That is crazy because Corrupt is usually supposed to help in the situation, but because there was so much time spent trying to actually be able to capture this Adam, we already have 2 gens left on the board.
Saki, they're using Starstruck. They're using Starstruck right now. They're using Starstruck. Hang on, let me take a look at Starstruck real quick, because I know it's a fairly new perk.
It is a new perk, but I remember when it came out, I said, that's gonna be a broken perk. God, it's gonna be a broken perk, because all the killers are gonna be like, oh, I'll pick you up, and everybody's gonna be like starstruck. That's right. That's what's happening right now. When here you go. Oh, sorry.
Okay. No, you're good. I'm just so speechless as you are. So when carrying a survivor, Starstruck activates. Survivors suffer from the exposed status effect while in your terror radius. The status effect lingers for 26, 28, and 30 seconds after leaving your terror radius. After hooking or dropping the carried survivor, Starstruck does deactivate. Status effect persists 26, 28, and 30 seconds for any survivor inside your terror radius at that moment. Does have a cooldown of 60 seconds though when the survivor is no longer carried.
So this is actually really crucial for right now. I believe now the timer on Starstruck should be finished already and ready to go for the next pickup. But this Nurse, unfortunately, not able to really secure a full-on chase running out of blinks before they can actually knock down a survivor. And this is actually getting really dangerous right now for Bama. This nurse pick maybe not being the best choice and probably rethinking on it, as we see Ancestral with 21 points already on the board right now. And unfortunately, this nurse trying to find the Atom, just again, so much time spent in trying to finish these chases and not getting the precise muscle memory blinks on them. And here we go. Full generators already done. We might see another 4-man escape if done properly, and that's going to be a dead heart from the Nancy. All right, not going to be touching this gate right here. Probably going for the next gate. That next gate is a little bit far. We do see the Claudette right now going to get injured. We have 2 injured survivors now on the board. All right, and here we go. 1 Claudette going down. We got Infectious Fright going off. And we do see that the gate is probably, I want to say, if I looked correctly, 70% done. We will definitely see once we take a look. No, 50% done. It is 50% done right now. So any touch on it will secure this win for Ancestral. Definitely want to see how they can play this. It is not impossible to come back, but it is very close and very dangerous depending on the next move. And here we go, endgame activated.
Correct me if I'm wrong, was that the first hook that Bama has gotten this game?
That is the second hook, I believe.
Second hook, okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Yes. Alrighty, and here we go. We're gonna see Adam kind of staying a little bit in the gate. Not much to do, even though the point is sort of secured for Ancestral. But I feel like you're probably trying to plan the best measure of escape. We do see Adam gonna get injured. He is gonna probably head out now. We do have Nancy still in this game right now. So, that is going to be second hook phase right now for Claudette. And Nancy's going to be heading out. And with that being said, Ancestral going ahead and leading with a 3-man team. Very well played there.
And it looks like the final score is 13 Vama, Ancestral 29. So congratulations, Ancestral. You and your team are going into the top 8 finale for week 8 within the Alive by Nightfall Dead by Daylight tournament.
GG's, and very good performance there from Ancestral. I just want to recap again how important it was. I'm not sure about the decision again to switch off of Oni. That would have definitely been a better choice, especially with this map in mind. But with all those missed blinks and the time spent, we are going to see Ancestral fully capitalize that and again leave with a 3-man lobby, doing a really good job. Again, first team of the night to actually be able to get a 4-man and a 3-man tonight.
Very well done. Congrats to everyone that played and participated. And I know that Nurse did definitely have a good amount of struggle. They were definitely more focused on the chasing, but they did very well. And I think with this game, especially in a competitive setting, it's always good to try and do your best. And don't worry if you didn't make it this time. You can always compete for the next upcoming weeks, for sure. So you still have a chance, but the teams that have made it to the finale, you guys are done until the finale. So you cannot play and re-enter. You have to wait until that very, very last week 8 for the finale.
Yes, and of course, like we mentioned before, if you're interested in participating in these last 3 weeks after this week, you can join the CGL Dead by Daylight Discord. Be sure to check out the links in chat. Also, be sure to check out the CGL Twitter as well as the Kunoichi Twitter. You can find those links as well in chat. And definitely be sure to keep a lookout. They have plenty of awesome events. They even have an Injustice 2 event happening pretty soon. I know Kunoichi has amazing events from all of their members happening as well. And like we mentioned, these Dead by Daylight tournaments are far from being over. We have another one next Sunday, leading up to that top 8 finale.
Yeah, so Saki, do you have any closing remarks? I had a wonderful time commentating with you. We're usually on commentary for Mortal Kombat, but I'm so happy because this is another one of our what I like to call like our palate cleansing games when we have our butts kicked a little too much sometimes in Mortal Kombat. So I'm so happy that we finally get to bond once again over a video game that has a very soft spot in our hearts. And hopefully next week we actually be able to see some of our husbandos and everything. But let me take a look here and make sure that everything is good.
So I definitely want to say thank you to, well, first, thank you to Autumn and Candy for inviting me. It is a huge honor. I've always wanted to commentate Dead by Daylight tournaments, and I had tons of fun this week. I definitely want to say thank you to you, Hannah, and it's always an honor and pleasure to commentate with you. Literally my favorite commentator duo when I like to do these things. And I love that we can actually commentate another game that's not
I know, because we already know how stressful it is. It's so